There's a sentence someone said to me a few weeks ago that I haven't been able to put down since we were at dinner, maybe 2 months into seeing each other, and Daniel reached across the table, genuinely moved, and said, "This is so nice. You're just so easy. You never need anything from me." He meant it as the highest compliment he had, and for about half a second, I smiled and let it land the way he meant it. Then something in my chest dropped, fast, like missing a step in the dark, and I excused myself to the bathroom before he could see my face change. I stood at the sink for a long time, looking at myself, hearing that sentence again. And this time it didn't sound like a compliment at all. To understand why that sentence hit the way it did, I have to go back further than any relationship I've ever been in. I was the easy one growing up. That was just a known fact in my family, the way some kids are known for being the funny one or the smart one. My older brother had a lot of needs, some of it medical, some of it just a bigger, louder personality than the rest of us knew what to do with. And my parents were stretched thin in a way I understood without anyone explaining it to me. So somewhere very early, without deciding to, I learned the math. Less I needed, less there was to worry about. Less there was to worry about, the more room there was for me to be loved without being a burden. There's one memory I keep coming back to. I was maybe 8. My mother was exhausted. Not unkind, just worn down in the specific way parents get when there isn't enough of them to go around. And she looked at me one evening and said, "Thank God you're not one more thing I have to worry about." She didn't mean it as anything but relief, and I didn't take it as anything but a compliment. I remember feeling proud, like I'd won something, like I'd figured out the one thing that kept me safely on the good side of being loved. I didn't know yet that I'd just adopted a rule I'd spend the next 20 years living by. That rule didn't stay in my childhood home. It came with me into every friendship, every job, every relationship I've had since. I got good at noticing what other people needed before they said it, and quiet about what I needed until I mostly forgot to notice it myself. I was the friend who never made plans complicated, the girlfriend who never made a big deal out of anything, the one people described again and again as easy, chill, low maintenance. And every single time, I heard it as praise. It felt like a skill I'd built, like something I was good at, the way other people are good at their jobs. Nobody tells you that being impossible to disappoint can also mean being impossible to actually know. Which brings me back to that dinner with Daniel. He wasn't wrong, technically. I really hadn't asked him for anything in 2 months. Not where we ate, not how often he called, not what I actually wanted this to become. And sitting there, before I even got up from the table, I realized there was a specific thing I'd wanted to ask him for 3 weeks. Something small, not even complicated. And I hadn't said it once, because some old, automatic part of me was terrified of becoming the version of myself that needs things. Easy wasn't peace. It had just started to look like it, if you didn't look too closely. That's what I was staring at in that bathroom mirror. Not his compliment. My own quiet 20-year habit of disappearing so no one would have a reason to leave. Here's the part that actually scared me once I started paying attention. I tried, that same week, to just answer a simple question honestly. Daniel asked where I wanted to go for my birthday. Nothing complicated, just a preference. And I sat there for a long moment, genuinely searching, and came up almost empty. Not because I didn't have wants, because I'd spent so long not looking for them that I'd gotten out of practice finding them at all. If I'd built an entire identity out of needing nothing, what happened to the parts of me that used to want things? I wasn't sure anymore where the real preference ended and the performance of having none began. It took me a while to understand that being low maintenance was never actually a virtue. It was a strategy, a very young, very smart strategy, built by an 8-year-old who noticed correctly that need was expensive in her house and who did the only thing she could do about it. She made herself cost less. That strategy made sense once. It kept me safely loved in a house that didn't have much room left over. But I never stopped running it, long after the reason for it was gone. I carried it into houses that had plenty of room, with people who would have gladly made space for me, and I never once tested whether that room was real. Being easy to love isn't the same as being loved for who you actually are. It just means no one has ever had the chance to find out. I didn't fix this in one conversation. I want to be honest about that. But a few days later, I told Daniel the small thing I'd been sitting on for 3 weeks. That I wanted us to start splitting who picks the restaurant, instead of me saying, "Anywhere's fine," every single time. It sounds almost embarrassingly small, saying it out loud now. My hands were shaking a little when I said it. He looked at me like I'd handed him something, not taken something away. "Why didn't you just say that weeks ago?" he asked, and I didn't have a real answer yet. I'm still practicing, small preference by small preference, letting people find out what it actually costs to know me. I don't think this is a story about Daniel, or even really about my family. I think it's a story about a rule I made when I was 8 years old, in a house that didn't have enough room, and never checked again to see if it was still true. If you've ever been called easy, or low maintenance, or chill, and felt something strange underneath the compliment, I don't think you're broken, and I don't think you're ungrateful for wanting more than that. I think some part of you has just been keeping an old promise long after the person who needed it was gone. There's a reflection on gentle rivers about learning to take up space again, without apologizing for the room you take. The link is below.